What if I told you she's already thinking about someone else? And it's not the guy who texts her good morning every day. It's not the guy who takes her on dates, gives her compliments, buys her flowers, and waits for hours hoping she'll reply. The man she thinks about? It's the one who made her feel something, and then vanished. It's the one she couldn't figure out, the one who walked away, not out of anger, but because he didn't need her attention to feel like a man. You've been told for years that being a good guy wins her heart. You've been fed the idea that being nice, available, present, and consistent will eventually earn her love. And yet, where has that gotten you? Ghosted, ignored. Let's just be friends. Tell me that doesn't feel like a knife in your chest. Now listen. If you're tired of feeling invisible, if you're tired of giving your best and getting crumbs in return, stay right here. Because I'm going to show you something most men will never hear. Not from their friends, not from dating coaches, not from YouTube, and definitely not from the women themselves. This is for the men who are ready to flip the script. This is for the men who are ready to walk a different path. A path that will not just make her miss you, but transform your entire life in the process. Comment, "I'm done being overlooked," if this message is hitting you already. And let's get into it. 1, stop trying to impress her. Every time you try to win her over with your lifestyle, with your achievements, with your endless compliments and availability, you quietly tell her that she is the prize and you are the one hoping to be chosen. And the moment she senses that imbalance, she mentally checks out, because women are wired to be drawn to presence, not presentation, to stability, not spectacle. And the harder you try to make her see your value through actions that scream desperation, the more she sees a man who doesn't truly believe he is enough on his own. And that is the bitter truth that most men run from but need to hear, because we've been fed this idea that women will love us if we show them how much we care, if we outshine the other men, if we convince them through effort, but none of that creates longing. It creates comfort at best and indifference at worst. So you must understand this deep in your bones. Trying to impress her will never make her miss you. It only proves that she holds more emotional power than you, and the man who wants to be missed must stop playing by the rules that keep him small, submissive, and forgettable. Have you ever noticed that the men who seem to effortlessly draw women in aren't the flashiest, the richest, or the loudest, but they carry themselves with a stillness that says, "I don't need to prove anything"? That's what she feels when you stop seeking her approval and start showing up for your own mission, when your eyes are no longer searching for her reaction, but fixed on the life you're building with or without her. Because a man on purpose is infinitely more attractive than a man chasing praise. And if you want to start living this way right now, take inventory of where you give your energy away for free. Delete those long texts trying to explain yourself. Stop updating her on your every move. Stop reacting to her distance with emotional offerings. Instead, use that time to build a routine around your goals. Go to the gym not to be hot for her, but because you need to feel strong for yourself. Journal every morning about what you stand for and what kind of man you want to become. Invest in your friendships. Read books that stretch your mind. Remove her from your priority list and watch how the world begins to take notice. And yes, she might too. Because when she feels you've stopped orbiting around her, she'll begin to wonder where that attention went. And curiosity is the first seed of longing. But even if she doesn't, you've already won, because the goal was never to get her back. It was to get yourself back, to stop needing validation to feel worthy, to walk into a room without bending, without shrinking, without looking around to see who's watching, because real presence can't be faked. And when you stop trying to impress anyone and start living with intention, you will find that not only do women begin to notice, but they begin to miss you before you even leave the room. 2, stay calm and emotionally untouched. There's a deep power in the man who doesn't waver, who doesn't flinch when she pulls away, who doesn't spiral into questions and confusion when her energy shifts. And that kind of composure is not born from pretending or posturing. It's born from knowing exactly who you are and refusing to let anyone else's actions define your emotional world. And in today's dating climate, men are punished for caring too much and discarded for revealing emotional hunger. And yet they keep repeating the same pattern, giving more when she gives less, texting faster when she slows down, becoming louder when she goes quiet, all in the hopes that if they just try harder, she'll finally see them, finally feel something, finally reciprocate. But she never does, and not because she's cruel, but because the moment she senses that you're emotionally dependent on her response, she knows you're not centered in yourself, and nothing is less attractive than a man whose state is determined by someone else's whims. So here's what you do instead. You learn to hold your frame, to stay steady when she's erratic, to nod and move on when she flakes, to see her delay in texting not as a crisis, but as a revelation of where she stands. And that ability to stay emotionally grounded is what separates the men she forgets from the ones she reconsiders weeks later when the dust has settled. Because it's easy to get caught up in the high of being wanted, it's much harder to keep your dignity when that attention is withdrawn. But that's where the test is, and that's where you either become the man who breaks or the man who is remembered. So how do you build this unshakable stillness? Start by mastering your mornings. Don't wake up to check your phone. Don't start your day chasing dopamine through validation. Instead, build rituals that center you in who you are. Cold showers, journaling, prayer, workouts, solitude. These things aren't trendy self-help tools. They are war preparation, because every day you step into a world trying to shake you. And if you let every text, every emoji, every delay in reply pull you off track, then you're not a man. You're a puppet. And the goal is not to fake indifference. It's to reach a place where you are so grounded in your values, in your habits, in your sense of self, that no woman's approval or rejection has the power to make or unmake you. And when she sees that, when she senses that you won't beg, won't plead, won't collapse under pressure, that's when the tables begin to turn. That's when her curiosity awakens. And more importantly, that's when you start to respect yourself again. Because this isn't just about dating. This is about reclaiming the authority you've been trained to outsource. This is about becoming the kind of man who can sit in stillness, not because he's unaffected, but because he's trained his mind and his body to respond, not react. And that kind of control isn't something you earn from watching a few videos. It comes from living differently, from choosing self-respect over cheap connection, from building a life so full, so rooted, that anyone who enters it must rise to meet your energy or be left behind. And the moment you begin walking that path, the moment you decide your peace is more important than her attention, that's the moment you become the one she starts thinking about. Not because you tried to get in her head, but because you finally got into your own. And once you've stepped into that version of yourself, the man who doesn't react to emotion with panic, but instead holds his ground with unwavering clarity, you'll realize how rare this strength is and how deeply it is needed, not just in dating, but in every area of life. And that's why the Stoic relationship blueprint exists, linked right now in the comments. Because if you've ever felt like no one handed you the tools, if you've ever questioned how to navigate connection without losing yourself, this is the guide you've needed all along, not filled with games or tricks, but with timeless principles and real direction that anchor you in who you are. And once you get it, it's yours forever. No subscriptions, just pure, lasting truth you can revisit at every stage of your growth. Because no matter how strong you become, reminders like these are weapons in a world that constantly tries to pull you off course. So grab it now, own your transformation, and keep this wisdom by your side for life. Number 3. Become a man she can't predict. There's something hauntingly unforgettable about a man she can't fully read. A man who moves not to be understood, but to be true to himself. And the moment she feels she has you figured out, when your next word, your next move, your next message is already known, she stops thinking about you. Because certainty kills the emotional tension that creates desire. And if you want to be remembered, if you want her mind replaying conversations and dissecting your pauses, your tone, your absence, then you must learn the art of being a mystery without being manipulative, of being present without being completely revealed. And the way you begin this is not by pretending or playing games, but by building a life so layered that no single interaction could ever capture the whole of who you are. Because the truth is, most men try to build connection through complete emotional exposure. They say everything too soon. They open up hoping vulnerability will breed closeness, and what it breeds instead is predictability. And in today's dating world, predictability is death to attraction. So how do you cultivate this edge? How do you become the man who lingers in her thoughts long after you're gone? You start by doing less explaining and more living. Let your actions speak volumes. Let your interests guide you to places she doesn't follow. If you like boxing, start training. Not because she thinks it's hot, but because you crave challenge. If you're into philosophy, stop quoting it and start living it. Read Marcus Aurelius. Write your thoughts in a journal. Apply discipline to your day like a warrior sharpening his mind. And when you speak, speak with clarity and brevity. Don't volunteer every detail about your past, your plans, your intentions. Let her wonder a little, and when she asks you about your weekend, give her just enough to spark imagination, but not enough to fill in every blank. Because the woman who has to ask, who has to guess, who has to wonder, is already investing mentally and emotionally. And that's the point. You don't want her knowing everything. You want her questioning something. You want to be the story she replays, not the summary she forgets. And imagine the next time she texts you something flirty. Instead of gushing back, you answer with a thoughtful question that flips the dynamic, that makes her work to hold your interest. Because you're not here to be an entertainer. You're here to be a man with depth. And if she wants access to that depth, she needs to show consistency, patience, and presence, not just curiosity. And this energy, this mystery, is not about being distant or detached. It's about being grounded in a world that thrives on emotional overexposure. So start small, speak less in conversations, pause more before responding, hold eye contact longer, and remember, the man she remembers is not the one who laid it all out. It's the one who let her feel but never fully see. The one who gave glimpses and made her earn more. Because when you become a man with layers, with secrets earned not shared, with a soul that isn't for display but discovery, that's when she realizes she's met someone rare. And rare is the only thing that's ever truly missed. Number 4. Pull back when she pulls away. There's a pivotal moment in every connection. That first time she starts responding slower, becoming colder, less engaged. And that moment reveals who you truly are more than any other. Because most men, when faced with distance, become desperate for closeness. They lean in, they text more, they try harder. They ignore the signs and convince themselves she's just busy, just tired, just confused. But the brutal truth is this. When she starts pulling away, she's already evaluating whether you're still a challenge, or if you've become another man who handed her his self-worth on a plate, and your reaction determines everything. Because pulling away is not just a test, it's a signal. And the men who pass that test are the ones who don't flinch, the ones who don't chase after crumbs of attention, the ones who don't beg to be seen. They don't send long emotional texts asking what's wrong. They don't ask mutual friends for help. They don't make excuses for her behavior. Instead, they step back too, not as a tactic, but as a reflection of self-respect. Because if she's not matching your effort, she's not matching your energy, and no amount of love, care, or trying will force her to value what she's already decided is free. So here's what you do. You shift your focus entirely, redirect that mental obsession into physical movement, into mental clarity. You start journaling every morning, not about her, but about your goals. You begin hitting the gym like it's your only therapy. You create a routine so airtight that anyone not fully in becomes irrelevant. And if she notices your shift, good. Let her feel the weight of your absence. Let her realize that being inconsistent has consequences, that energy not matched is energy removed. And if she doesn't notice, even better, because it confirms what you needed to know. She was never truly there to begin with. And here's where most men get it wrong. They think pulling back is punishment. They think it's about making her suffer. But the truth is, it's not about her at all. It's about returning to yourself, because no woman, no relationship, no moment of attention is worth abandoning your center for. And the man who can walk away when he's no longer respected is the man she remembers, even if she never says it, even if she never admits it. She feels it when you stop chasing, when your name stops lighting up her phone, when your attention vanishes like it was never promised. And the way you live this truth starts with boundaries. Set them now. Write down what you will and won't tolerate. Create a vision so powerful for your life that no text, no absence, no temporary rejection can shake it. And when you sense her pulling back, smile, not because it doesn't hurt, but because it just revealed the truth. And that truth is your freedom. Because the second you stop trying to make someone stay who isn't fighting to be there, the second you reclaim your direction, your growth, your energy, is the second you start living like the man you were always meant to become. And that man, the one who walks away without bitterness, who improves in the absence of attention, who builds without validation, is the one she thinks about when she's finally surrounded by noise and realizes what it meant to feel the quiet strength of someone who no longer needs her to breathe. Number 5, limit her access to you. There's no faster way to become invisible to a woman than making yourself too available. And while it may seem counterintuitive to a man raised to believe that love is about constant presence and giving more, the reality is this: the more access she has to you without effort, the less value she places on that access. And this is not about playing games or withholding affection for sport. It's about restoring a balance that most men have completely surrendered. Because the man who gives his time freely, who drops everything the second she texts, who answers calls at midnight even when he has an early morning, who rearranges his priorities just to maybe get a little moment of attention, is a man who has forgotten the value of his own energy. And women, whether they admit it or not, feel this dynamic deeply. They sense when a man has nothing else going for him but them, and in their mind it registers not as romance, but as dependence, and dependence dries up attraction like nothing else. So the path to changing this begins with reclaiming your time like your life depends on it, because it does. Your growth, your purpose, your legacy, all of it depends on how fiercely you protect your schedule. So from now on, stop responding instantly, not because you're pretending to be busy, but because you are genuinely building something. Carve out time every day that is non-negotiable. For your fitness, your business, your mental clarity. Create blocks of time where your phone is off and your mind is locked in. And when she reaches out during those windows, let it wait, not out of punishment, but out of priority. Because when you prioritize her over your own development, you teach her that her time is more important than yours, and that's a lesson she will believe. And abuse, and you must understand this in your core. You do not exist to be an emotional vending machine for someone who hasn't earned it. So start creating standards around your communication. If she only texts you late at night, stop replying. If she cancels plans more than once, stop making them. If she only reaches out when she's bored, stop responding when you're focused. And instead, spend that time with your boys, at the gym, reading a book that sharpens your mind, building that side hustle that changes your future. Because every minute you spend chasing unreciprocated attention is a minute stolen from your greatness. And the more you enforce this boundary, the more she will notice that you're not like the rest, the more she will feel the shift from being catered to being filtered through. And that filter is what makes you high value, because men with options don't overextend, they don't over-explain, and they don't overgive. They observe, they choose, they move with intent. And when you finally decide to limit her access, not to get a reaction, but to protect your peace, you'll find that the women who are meant for you will lean in, and the ones who never valued you will fade. And that's not a loss, that's a blessing, because you weren't born to be on call for someone who treats you like a background option. You were born to lead, to create, to build, and any woman who wants to be a part of that has to meet your standard, not drain your energy. Number 6, speak less, move with purpose. Words mean nothing when they're not backed by direction. And in the world we live in today, where everyone talks, posts, announces, and seeks validation through over-communication, the man who says less, but moves with undeniable intent, becomes a presence she feels before he even speaks. And this isn't about being cold or disconnected. It's about developing the discipline to let your actions define you instead of your explanations. Because when a man has to constantly explain what he meant, why he's valuable, what he feels, he unconsciously reveals that he believes his worth is still in question. And nothing ruins attraction faster than a man who feels the need to prove himself with paragraphs. So how do you shift into this energy? How do you become the man who doesn't need to fill space with noise? You start by learning the art of restraint, not silence, but calculated communication. You begin paying attention to how much you talk in a day, how often you feel the urge to explain your intentions, how quickly you rush to answer when she challenges you, and then you pause. You train yourself to respond, not react, to observe before you speak, because your power isn't in how loud you are, it's in how little you need to say to change a room. And this doesn't come overnight, it comes from practice. So start small. Next time she texts something that feels like a test, don't rush to defend yourself. Let her sit with it. Let the silence become her mirror. And instead of writing a novel, give her a sentence that reflects strength, not spite. When she shares drama, don't dive in to rescue or relate. Just nod and say, "Sounds like a lot," and move forward. When you're in person, stop trying to entertain her with non-stop conversation. Just be. Let your body language speak. Let your eyes carry weight. Because most men rely on words because they haven't cultivated energy. And energy is what she feels when you don't overcompensate, when you're grounded, when your purpose is so clear that she knows she's not your center. Your mission is, and to build this, you must anchor your days in direction. Wake up early and move, not for dopamine, but for discipline. Write out your goals every morning, even if they haven't changed, because repetition is mastery. Train your body to be strong, not for looks, but for integrity. Pursue knowledge, not for conversations, but for transformation. And every time you feel the need to speak just to be heard, ask yourself, does this add weight or does it beg for validation? Because the man who speaks to be understood is at the mercy of other people's perception. But the man who speaks with purpose doesn't care who gets it. He knows his message was never meant for everyone, just the ones paying attention. And the more you embody this, the more she begins to lean in, not because you tried to capture her, but because you became impossible to ignore. And that is the path. Speak less, move better. Make your life so rich in purpose that your presence alone becomes the loudest thing in the room. Number 7, let her feel the void. You leave. There's no substitute for absence, not distance, not delay, not detachment, because when you remove your presence entirely, without announcement, without permission, without looking back, it forces her to confront the one thing she never expected to feel about you. A space, an emptiness, a shift that rattles her more than any words could. And it's in that space where missing begins, not when you're constantly checking in, not when you're sending her memes hoping for a response, not when you're subtly reminding her of your value with breadcrumbs of attention. But when you vanish from the story, when she goes to send that text and your name no longer floats to the top of her notifications, when she checks her socials and there's no update, no thirst for her gaze, just silence filled with the echo of your self-respect. And most men will never do this because it terrifies them to be forgotten. But what they don't understand is that being forgotten isn't the danger. Being tolerated is. And when you stay in spaces where you're not cherished, when you continue to engage with someone who has clearly deprioritized you, you shrink, your confidence erodes, your light dims. And that's the real tragedy. Not the loss of her attention, but the loss of your identity in the process. So you have to be bold enough to disappear, not as a tactic, but as a declaration. That you are no longer chasing connections that drain you, that your energy is no longer up for negotiation. And if she truly valued it, she will feel its absence in ways she can't articulate. It will hit her late at night, when no one else makes her laugh the same way. When other men speak but they don't carry the weight you did. When she finally realizes she took for granted what she now can't reach. And if she doesn't feel it, that's even more powerful, because it proves she was never capable of meeting you where you stood. And now you're free to give that presence to the world that deserves it. So how do you start? You start by stopping. You stop explaining, you stop offering, you stop trying, and you begin investing that energy back into yourself with ruthless consistency. You write that book, you launch that project, you take control of your mornings, like your life depends on it. You hit the gym like it owes you something. You look in the mirror and say, no more, because you are not a man who waits for recognition. You are a man who builds legacy in its absence. And when you do this fully, when your days are so full of purpose that you don't even notice she's gone, that's when she notices you're gone, and that ache, that confusion, that sudden awareness that you were different, that's what lingers. And if she ever tries to come back, it will not be because you begged or reminded her. It will be because she felt the void you left when you chose yourself over her half-interest. And that's the difference between men who are remembered and men who are replaced. The ones who leave a space that no one else can fill. Not because they were the most charming, the most successful, or the most entertaining, but because they had the courage to walk away without fear, to remove their energy like a king exiting a room, not slamming the door, not yelling over his shoulder, but simply gone. And the weight of that decision is the most powerful statement you'll ever make, because she will feel it not just in her mind, but in her body, in the way she suddenly realizes what she had when it's no longer offered. And even if she never speaks it, even if her pride keeps her quiet, she will remember the one who walked with quiet strength and left her with a question she still can't answer. What did I lose when he stopped looking back? If you're still watching, it means something deep inside you already knows. You're done living on your knees, done begging to be seen, done hoping she'll finally appreciate what you've been giving freely. And the Stoic relationship blueprint is not just an ebook. It's the answer every man wishes he had before he gave too much, chased too hard, or lost himself trying to make it work with someone who was never meant to lead his life. This guide isn't about tips or tricks. It's the complete awakening, the shift from desperate to deliberate, from reactive to unshakable, from confused to clear. And it's linked right now in the comments, waiting for the man who's ready to take ownership of his value before the world teaches him the hard way. So if that's you, if you're tired of wasting years being the nice guy who always finishes forgotten, comment, the Stoic blueprint below right now. Hit the like button, subscribe, and help spread this truth to save another man from making the same mistakes that nearly broke you, because this book is the turning point.